Alright guys, welcome back to this microservices series. In the last episode, we covered service discovery using Eureka and built two services that discovered and talked to each other using Fiend clients. So before we jump into today's topic, which is API gateways, let's quickly recap what we have learned and why inter-service communication even matters. So let's go through the diagram. So in the recap, what we did, we created one Eureka server, which is service discovery, and two services, user service and order service. And we had used Fiend client or declarative way to call one service from another service instead of using raw HTTP URLs. So order service had one Fiend client, which was user client, and it was calling the endpoint of user service. So in the user service we had slash users, which was giving some list of users, right? And in the order service we were having endpoint orders, and in the orders there was users, so which was calling this endpoint of the user service, right? Okay, so this was the overall agenda of the last video, right? So you might have one question, like, Krish, why do we even need services to talk each other? Like, why order service is calling user service? Can't no front end, like if there is a one front end, let's if there is one front end like client is there, and can't it just directly call, let's say it has called user service and it has called order service, right? Can't it directly just call user service, right, rather than just calling user service order service, and from order service we get the data from the user service? Well, technically yes, but in real world microservices, services often depend on each other. Let's take one example to clear more it. uh, let's take e-commerce example. E-commerce is platform that we are building, for example, which has one, let's say, e-commerce which has, let's say, order service, user service, and let's say product service, right? So order service handles the order placement, like the orders that has been placed. User service stores the information of the users of your application. Product service, which manages the product stock. Inventory service also you can consider same thing, right? So now if someone placed the order, someone has placed the order, and what order service need to do then? So it will fetch the details from the user service, like from here it will go to the user service, and it will get the information about the users, like who is placing the order, right? Let's say we are directly fetching the address of the user or the bank information or other things that we might have stored in the user service database. So like from the order service it will go to user service and it will get the details of the users, right? And then it might go to the product service to check that item is available or not, whether the item is in the stock or not, right? So this here inter-service communications is becomes important, like we are calling out from user service, product service from the order service, right? So also it can might be called the payment service to initiate the transaction, and a lot of more stuff can be there, right? So if all these things order service try to handle internally, you will end up copying the logic, right? Duplicating the databases, or maybe violating some microservice boundary, right? Because let's say you need information of the user, you need information of the product. So all these things you have to keep in the database of order service, right? Because we don't have those information is kept in these two services, right? So that's why we need to call those services from the order service. Otherwise we need to duplicate the logic and duplicate the data as well, right? So that's why inter-service communications become important in these cases, right? And so yeah, like it keeps your logic modular and maintainable, right? And each service focuses on one job, right? Other services focuses on order only, user service focuses on the users, product service focuses on the inventory in products, right? So like we don't need to rewrite the logic as well, right? And we can reuse them directly. So what we are doing, instead of directly calling, your front end calls the order service, user service, product service, what we are doing, that just call the order service, and from order service it will call user service, it will call product service. So that's why your front end calls also become saved as well, right? But like it's not only about saving front end calls, but mainly it's about preserving the service boundaries and make more reusability, right? So I hope you are more clear about the service discovery, fiend clients, the inter-service communications, right? So that's what the overall recap of the last video. Now we will move forward with this series and begin with API gateways. And yeah, all right. So uh, let's start with the API gateways and why do we need them, right? uh, let's say you have multiple services, for example users, orders, uh, orders, let's say this is products, let's say this is payments, right? Let's say you have multiple services like this, and let's say here are 4, but you have 10 plus services, and all are having different ports and different URL. All are having their own auth, own logging, own rate limited. So how front end will manage them? Let's say here is your client, and how it will manage, because you don't want to call this to each and every ports, each and every URLs, and it becomes very hard to uh, also manage and remember every ports and every endpoints, right? So that's where API gateways comes into the picture. So what API gateways technically are, it's a one type of gateway which acts as a middleware, right? So instead of clients, here we have API gateway, and your client maybe some application, React application and any other front-end application. It will only just call this API gateway, and this API gateway will look at the request, like which request has came, and from that request it decide where this request to forward to which service, right? So and also it may add some security layers, security checks or the limits, whatever, right? So now your microservice application becomes more clean and more centralized, and here like you can only have one port, 8080, right? So you just need to call this port only, which will go to the API gateway, and that your request will be forwarded to the according to the microservices that you want to use, right? So how this API gateway works, so API gateway is basically a reverse proxy that sits in front of your microservices and act as a single entry point. So for that you need to understand what is proxy and what is reverse proxy. So let me simplify. So proxy, what proxy is, uh, proxy what proxy means, proxy is something that's sit between your the client, uh, the client and the server. So it sits between your client and the server, and let's say the client has made request, wants to talk with the server. So we will not directly call the server, but instead of we are calling from proxy server, and from proxy server the call is forwarded to the server. So like that, there can be multiple clients. The all the clients all are calling to the talking to the proxy server, and this proxy server forwards your request to the main server, right? So this server that this proxy server request has been forwarded doesn't know that which client has that request came from, right? Because it only knows the request came from the proxy server. So that's why the informations of the client has been secured as well, and the the server doesn't know that which client has initiated the request. You might have used this in somewhere in your daily life, like some of the websites are blocked from some users, so you are creating one proxy server and like starting some VPN or a DNS server and using that particular website or this server, right? So this is the meaning of proxy, right? Now what is reverse proxy? It is exactly the opposite of this. Let me explain. So it sits between the internet and your servers, like the public facing server that forwards traffic to the internal server. So here we had multiple clients. Instead of that, here we have multiple servers. This like one server, two server, three server, right? Lot of servers can be there. Like these are the servers, and here is your client. And now client sends request to the reverse proxy server, and this reverse proxy server will decide where to send this request to which server, right? There can be multiple servers, so where to send this request that has came from the client and send to which server, right? So like this kind of architecture might be used in the load balancing, right? Your request client sends request, there are multiple clients which are sending request, and this reverse proxy servers distributes the request and sends to few server via round robin method or any other method, right? And here we have some some rate limiting we have applied. So a lot of things might have been done here, and forwards request to the particular servers that the client wanted to use, right? So this same logic of the reverse service is used in the API gateway. So this API gateways forwards distributes and forwards the request, but whichever client want to use, right? So that's how API gateway acts as a reverse proxy service, right? And yeah, so like what are the features of this API gateway? One is routing, like the routing of the whatever service that we want to use, right? Another is you might apply rate limiting as well. Let's say you have some rate limiter like leaky bucket, token bucket, few different algorithms are there to apply rate limiting. So you apply some rate limiting, so it might protect your services to being overloaded here. So lots of requests are coming, but API gateway is stopping to send to those microservices and prevent the services to being overloaded, right? So let me just write all these things. One is routing, another is, let's say, rate limiting. Another thing, authentication and authorization. Okay, so this microservices needs user to be authenticated or authorized, right? Each and every user must be authorized. Few of them might not be open for everyone, right? So you can check whether the user is logged in, user has some token, uh, it has some it has right role to access that users, that microservice before hitting the actual directly service view. You can set all these checks at API gateway level, right? So that thing can be done. Logging and monitoring, like instead of doing logging and monitoring at particular service, you can do at a API gateway, so it becomes your one place to know, logging, and it might help you to understand the bug as well, right? uh, you can, so let me just write here as well, logging. Another is you can apply global filters. Let's say you want to modify headers, you want to rewrite the path, you want to block some IPs, so that things you can do at API gateway level, right? Your every request needs to be modified, so instead of doing at microservice level, you can apply it here and then send to the particular microservice, right? So that thing can be done. So yeah, that's all about API gateway. In So we are going to add API gateway layer in the application that we built in the last video. So we are going to use Spring Cloud gateway service. There is also Zul, which is older service by Netflix, but this Spring Cloud gateway is a newer and a reactive package, so we are going to use this in our application. So yeah, let's get started with the coding part and see how we can implement this API gateway. All right, so let's get started with the implementation of the API gateway. We have three services: order service, user service, and one service discovery. API gateway will also will be independent Spring Boot application only. So we need to go to the Spring initializer and create the Spring Boot application. So for the dependency, one dependency is Spring Cloud Gateway, Spring Cloud Routing. One is discovery client, Eureka discovery client, because this will be also registered in our discovery service. And yeah, this only these two things will required for now, because we are just creating a simple API gateway. No more stuff will be required. And let's generate, and we will go to this demo app and just download this. Okay, so let's just unzip it. API gateway, okay, we have unzipped, and let's go back to the, okay, got it. Okay, so now, like, it is not Maven recognized. As you can see, blue box hasn't came yet. uh, for that, you can just go to this section in the IntelliJ, M for Maven, and go to the plus and just just click here and add. That's it. You just need to do and just do refresh, and now you can see the blue box has been there. So you can just go there and just go to the pom.xml, and it will analyze. No problems found, and everything is working fine, right? So yeah, we are done with the API gateway. We need to add one application.yml to add the configuration regarding the API gateway. So here we will set port as a 8080, and now we want to do some configuration of the endpoints. So let me just give the name will be API gateway. So this name will be displayed in the service discovery, so it becomes easier to understand. So cloud dot gateway dot discovery, right? And the locator enable true, so the mapping via service names can be enabled, right? uh, Other than that, you can also directly use like, if you don't want to use this cloud.gateway discovery, directly just go to the roots and just give the, yeah, just like this, give the ID, URI, and there will be load balancer user service and the predicates, which are the path order. So this must be same as the path that we are giving in the controller. So in the user service we were having slash user. So let me go to the user controller, and this for slash user. So let's just create this API slash user, so to become it more clear. Slash API slash user. In the service discovery, let me also do some changes. No, not service discovery, but in the order service, right? So in the order service, just go to the controller and go to the slash API slash order, right? Also we have to change in the this as well, slash API slash user. These things need to be there in the use. So here it can also suggest the user controller, right? Awesome. So let me just close all these tabs and again wrap this up and go to the application.yaml of the API gateway, right? Let me just zoom it. So here server will be running on the 8080. In the Spring Cloud gateway, these are some roots of user service, order service. As many microservices you are having, you will need to add all this and set some predicates. So here we need to change to slash API slash user and slash API slash order. Awesome, works. So this star mail, all the requests after slash user will be accepted, right? And slash star of all the requests after order, this path will be accepted by this order service, right? So yeah, like I think this is clear how we have set the request mapping, the routing, and also we need to add this Eureka and Eureka client and the service URL, and the default zone will be the localhost 876 Eureka server, right? And yeah, this also we need to go to the API gateway and yeah, tell here, right, is enable discovery client, because it is also discovery client and we want to see this in the service discovery as well, right? So I think we are done with the setup, and we can run this application, and I can show you how this works. So let me click the run button and it will start all my applications, right? So all the services are being running, and let me just check whether there is no problem. Okay, so there is one error which is cannot execute request on any known server. Discovery client cannot execute request. Okay, so like this was not running at that time, so we have to rerun this, and now it should be running. Yeah, awesome. So discovery client has been there. Okay, awesome. So I think everything is running properly fine, and now we can go to the 8761 and just check whether the all services are listed or not. And let me zoom out this. Yeah, you can see the API gateway, the order service and the user service. 8080 is the port, and these are two ports of order service and user service. So now I think our application should work properly. So earlier what we are doing in the 8081, this endpoint should give us list of the user from the user service, right? And in the orders slash users, okay, so API slash orders slash users. Let me just check the request again. Go to the order service main, Java controller, and the order controller API slash orders slash users. So this should okay, so yeah, So this was the order controller, so we have to call 8082, right? So yeah, this mistakes might have happened, but yeah. So in 8082 orders service was there, so I had to change that. Order service calling user service, so inter-service communication. Now instead of calling each particular port, we can directly go to the /8080/API/users, and okay, so /API/user should give this. Let me check the API gateway in the src main resources. Okay, so these are the users orders, right? Some minor mistakes, so you need to uh, debug them and keep track of each and everything. So now it should work. It was like users and I have added user. Okay, again again I need to go and check application.yaml API/users, and I need to check the okay, this order service, this LB order service, right? And let me check to the Eureka if everything is running properly. Order service and user service, order service, right? Okay, let's go and check the orders /users. Not found. I don't know why it's not working, if I'm doing any mistakes. /API/users/ let me go to this 8080 and yeah, Tom get started. Let me just again restart all these services and whether check. Until it restart, let me check if any resource I have already and just cross check whether I'm doing correctly or not. Yeah, I mean, I think I'm doing everything properly only. I don't find any mistake here. I just need to cross check whether the endpoints are perfectly or not. The controller I need to check again. /API/orders for the order service, and this is the user service. So in the controller /API/users, right? So I think it should work. Let us trace and understand what is the issue here. I don't think this should be issue, but fine. It was get mapping, so let's change it to get mapping. Let's rerun for our safety. Let me rerun all this. Awesome. Let me rerun this as well. Cannot execute, some problem might have occurred. Okay, and let me rerun this as well. So some issues might happen if you are running all this together. So the order should be maintained, because API gateway tries to register in the service discovery and service discovery is not running, then it gets error, right? Awesome, right? And yeah, like this application enable discovery client, and let me check in the pom.xml, Spring Cloud Starter, Netflix Eureka client, and the API gateway server web MVC, right? Okay, so I think there might be some issue. I think I found the issue. Yeah, so this is the web MVC package, but we are using the REST server, right? So that's why it was not working. uh, and I think it should work now. So let's just keep in the sync until it's gets run. Spring Cloud starter gateway, and yeah, server also I need to remove, right? And yeah, let me just rerun this, resolving the dependency. So like by default it comes with the MVC, but you need to change that. And yeah, I think we have debugged it very well. I have debugged live here, and let's see if I have done it correctly. I don't know. I will be not cutting this part because you guys will also be facing same issue and you might be remembering me. Okay, so let's go to the API gateway again and hit the /API/user, and now it should be okay. Man, please work. Why it's not working? And let's go to the Eureka and whether it is listed. API gateway is listed. Let me check the version of the Spring Cloud. So Spring Cloud Starter Gateway, this is the group ID and the Spring. Let me rerun this. Okay, let's rerun from start. Service Discovery application, and now user service, and now order service as well. Right, and now also rerun API gateway. Okay, so yeah, we need to add this webflux route as well. I was waiting for the same issue, so that needs to be added. And now it should be running, man. Okay, let's check. The use of configuration keys that has been renamed was found. Replacement webflux route IDs. Okay, okay. This to silent this warning. Okay, so application is updated, application is running, right? And we are just getting this warning, so it's fine. Let me just check whether it is running, and I hope this should run now. And yeah, awesome. /API/user is finally working after so many tries. But it's fun to debug some issues, and like you might be facing same things while you are developing this, and you will understand why this. Yeah, so I'm giving you tasks why these issues had happened, and you need to find out the issues. So let's go to the orders and /users as well, and let me check whether it's running. Yeah, order service is also running. So we are not changing the port, the one gateway for all the requests, and from the path we are deciding which service to use. So yeah, that was the simple implementation of API gateway. Now we can add filters, we can have authentication filter, global filters added in the API gateway. So I'm giving you simple task. You need to add one global filter, uh, which will be one component or a bean that you need to add in the API gateway, and log all the request in the console that this request came from, and this is forwarded to this microservice, right? So this is the simple global filter you need to add. Try to do it by own, and we will check in the next video if we have some time. Yeah, so this was the implementation of API gateway, and I hope you are cleared with why we are using the API gateway, and what are the benefits of using API gateway, right? Thank you for watching this video.